Welcome back, everyone. Who is dividing Nigeria? Who is really dividing Nigeria? Is it those that have vowed that Igbo man will never be a president of Nigeria? Or those that have decided that, okay, if you don't want us, there's no need of staying together, let us go? Who is really dividing Nigeria? Sowore said it, that Nigeria has an Igbo problem. And if they play, they show for our crocodile eyes. It's no longer a hidden secret. The reason why they are still holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is because he is an Igbo man. According to news, some Igbo who was found with a gun. But look at, when they arrested Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you guys saw the items they recovered from him. Handkerchief, phone, this and that. Even when they invaded his house, they couldn't even find any single gun. But at the end of the day, they went ahead and charged him for terrorism. Just because he is an Igbo man. Anything that happened in Nigeria, any ugly event or incident that happened in Nigeria, they will tag it Igbo. So I was surprised, the one that happened in our crow eyes. This one no be history. This one no be said our forefathers told us. The answers that just happened, we saw everything that took place. At the end of the day, they are still licking Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with answers. What a country. Who is really dividing Nigeria? If you listen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu carefully, his number one agenda is to protect the life and properties of Ndi Igbo. This is the reason why he formed ESN. So that they can protect our mothers while going to farms from these Fulani terrorists. And this is the reason why Fulanis hate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu like tomorrow no day. The hatred against Ndi Igbo in Nigeria is what is making Nigeria to keep going backward. You guys know before and after election 2023, all that we are saying is that Igbo man will never be a president of Nigeria. Igbo man will never be a president of Nigeria. But 3 months after the election, they are the ones that are coming out crying. Hey, hunger don't buy us. This one don't happen. Even when they protested, the Igbos said that they are not protesting. At the end of the day, they were even blaming Igbos why they did not protest. Like the hatred and the injustice against Ndi Igbo in Nigeria is unbelievable. Let me allow you guys to watch these videos and hear what Mr. Magnus have to say concerning this matter. But first of all, take a look at this short clip to hear what Sowore said about Igbos in Nigeria, as well as why they are still holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Take a look.
Without sounding patronizing, Nigeria has an Igbo problem. So it's a multi-generational issue, you know, like it's like when a father is dying and they are not Igbo, they will tell their son, please, I have problem with Igbo people, continue from there. Because that's the only way I can explain it. And I understand it came from the Civil War. And so because I was surprised that Tinubu would even take Nnamdi Kanu's case, you know, more than 2 days after he came into office. I expected that just as he was declaring against subsidy, he would just say, look, you know, for national cohesion and whatever lie you want to tell, we're going to let this man go for now and figure out how to resolve our differences. But the fact that they even go worse shows that it's just like there's a secret file somewhere that said, look, you know, don't open. No, just continue where we start. But beyond that, I also know that there are some Igbo elites who are complicit in it, because there was a time they were having conversation about it and they said, no, please, let's have election first. And then after the election, the devil intervened more. But the most important thing is not to even reduce it to that alone, is that there is something about the Nigerian state and the Nigerian nation and how they see Biafrans. And I think it came from the Biafran war. Maybe because people like us didn't participate in the war. That's the reason we feel this way. Because I was born in 1971. I cannot carry, I don't have a multi-generational cause. or conspiracy against Igbos. But I genuinely, and I've said it several times, and I'm not saying it's based on what I know. There's no, I mean, even the Supreme Court was this shy of saying, look, this guy did nothing, he broke his bail. In fact, I told Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer that they should not reapply for bail because the Supreme Court has reinstated the bail practically from what they said. But they went and reapplied, and and there's no way, and I'm saying it, there's no way Nnamdi Kanu is going to get justice from a federal high court, a court of appeal, or Supreme. It's impossible, except if the state decides that, because Nnamdi Kanu is the official prisoner of whomever is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So so I know what it means to be, they have to go to the president every morning and report that you're still alive, or you're eating, or you're on hunger strike. So, but at this time, he's the official prisoner of the president. And anything that is official to the president doesn't let go.
An Igbo man will never become the president of this country. Yes, an Igbo man will never become the president of this country. When I see comments like this on my thread, I begin to wonder, what is the state of mind that evolved this kind of comments? You see, when I see people lost in the labyrinth of this conjecture, I now begin to realize the type of wickedness, the type of hatred, the type of disunity that some politicians, perhaps in the past, may have sown in Nigeria. So, if you don't want an Igbo man to become president, and yet you that says you don't want an Igbo man to be the president of Nigeria, you are the same person that cries, one Nigeria, the unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct, Nigeria is an indivisible entity, blah, 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 all these rhetorics that suggest that one part of the country will rule, the other ones you follow. These are the same people that will cry wolf when an Igbo man says, break the country and let us go. What exactly is going on here? Why are these set of people so intoxicated with the idea that the leadership of this country must belong to a certain portion of this country, while the rest of us play the act of sit down and look? Let me tell you what is going on here. Now, trust me, I am not saying this to market the Igbos. There are bad leaders in Igbo language. There are bad leaders in Yoruba. There are bad leaders in Fulani. There are bad leaders everywhere. So what I'm asking this set of people is that if we get a leader that can actually transform Nigeria from its chaos, are we going to reject him just because he bears an Igbo origin? You see, a lot of you are not ready yet for this country to transform itself. They say Nigeria is a giant of Africa. But clearly, from what I've seen, Nigeria is the Peking of Africa. There is nothing about Nigeria right now that anyone can be proud of. I had thought that, okay, let me see. There's a guy that made a comment in my thread and said that my hatred for Tinubu. I don't hate Tinubu. I dislike Tinubu. There's a sharp difference between hatred and dislike. And why do I dislike Tinubu? I dislike him because of what he represents. He represents criminality, deceit, and shortcut to getting what you want. A man who says you have to grab something, snatch something, and run away with it. That's a criminal mentality. So if that kind of person with that type of mentality is a role model to you, it's not a role model to me. I like a president that I could quote his words and stamp it on marbles. I like to write the word of my leader on the sand of time so that my children can say, okay, my father quoted these words from a leader. And they want to walk by it. They want to abide by those words. Imagine telling my children, look, Obaro, look, see, the only way to get things in this life is to grab it, snatch it, and run away with it. What type of legacy is that? That's a criminal legacy. The purpose of this video is to say something. Yes, Nigeria is a multilingual entity, about 375 ethnic nationalities, which somehow the colonial masters forcefully brought together. Now, if we must make this country work, we must establish a sense of equity, justice. We must take away and get rid of this undue ethnic bias. Now, I said in my previous video that anywhere in Africa where one tribe assumed itself as more populous do have the tendency to dominate those they perceive as less populous, and they refer to them as minorities. So, if we have a country where disqualification of a leader is based on the ethnicity we identify himself with, it still means we are still living in the Stone Age. We are not ready to, to embrace the ideals of a 21st century civilization. Those of you who, whenever you hear the name of Peter Obi, you get sudden stroke of heart attack, you are the problem of this country. You are the problem of this country. If you are following this page, please know it without any equivocation that I am a diehard Peter Obi supporter, an unrepentant one for that matter. Now, if you bring somebody else that is better, fine. Even if it's a Yoruba man, if you bring a Yoruba man that is better than Peter Obi right now, I will switch my support. It's not about tribe. Those who base their preferences on tribe are still living in the dark ages of primitivity. You have to be better than that. You have to, if you bring the worst Urubu man today to compete with Peter Obi, I will campaign against that Urubu man. But if I assess that the Urubu man is better than Peter Obi, I will campaign for the Urubu man. This is 2025 for crying out loud. I still find it difficult to think that people are still moved or defined by their ethnic thoughts. My brother, when I fall my hand, now they fall my hand. So you really think that Tinubu 8 years, Tinubu 4+4? I still tell you, whether Tinubu rule 8 years old, 12 years old, or become life president, I still tell you, now your people go still go internet go they shout a bing power muna jinua. We will not beg. You know, when I am on this channel, I always look at issues that requires our deep thinking. I have always heard the saying that if you give an Igbo man the presidency of this country, they will break it. I've heard that right from when I was a kid up till now. Then the question now arose, who is really breaking this country? I mean, who is really breaking Nigeria? Because as it is now, 1960 to now is about 65 years, almost 65 years. And Nigeria has been going down the drain. There are more reasons to break Nigeria now than when we had independence. And I don't think the Igbos are responsible. I paused for a little while for us to allow that to sink in. The current state, when I grew up, when they give you, when they say that means 2 pounds. It means 1 naira. That means there was a time our money was more powerful than the pounds. There was a time our money, Nigerian money, was more powerful than the pound. 60 years later, where is our money? You see, I've come to the realization that those who are selling the narrative that if you give an Igbo man the presidency, they will break the country, they are, after all, indeed the ones breaking this country. When you hear people saying that if an Igbo man votes for another party, they will be unalived, who is breaking the country? When you hear somebody saying that an Igbo man will never become the president of this country, but you still will not allow them to go, who is breaking the country? Because I know that a Fulani man will not stand in Nigeria and hear that narrative that a Fulani man will never be president of this country. My brother, this country could be on fire. Or a Yoruba man hearing the rest of the country saying that a Yoruba man will never be president. This country for on fire. So what I see is that a certain portion of this country has mandated itself to be the sole bearer of the leadership of this country. Now, for those who are saying, break this country, see, I don't like pursuing shadows. I'm a realist by making. I like pursuing things that can be achievable. For now, breaking this country is a far cry. If your emotions does not allow you to see it, that's your headache. But the truth is, Alex Oti is an example of a governor out of 36 states. And we are all seeing his handwork. Those who have complained that if you give Igbo the presidency, they will break this country, ask them. They are champions from Katsina State, from Southwest, Northwest. What have they done to put Nigeria in an indivisible state other than the rhetoric that the unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct? Nigeria cannot be divided. They will give Igbo, they will be to split Nigeria. How do you have confidence in a country where they cultivate hunger? How do you have confidence in a country where they cultivate low life expectancy through lower healthcare, kidnapping, and terrorism? How do you ensure the country is united in a country where the level of education keeps trolling down the line of enormous decline? And you say the country should not break? I think the narrative that the Igbos will break this country is a mere diversion or a calculated misdirection to enable those who truly want to destroy this country to have their leeway. Otherwise, how do you choose somebody who says he will grab election, snatch election, and run away with it to a man who tells you, don't vote for me because I'm an Igbo man? After all, a Muslim man does not buy bread cheaper in the market. It clearly shows our priorities have been misplaced based on our biases, our misinformation, and deliberate mischiefs. Now, let me myself stop the rhetorics. The question I want to ask, do we really want this country to become better? I am sure the Muslims, the Christians, the terrorists, the Yorubas, the Igbos, everybody will say yes. But I tell you, we cannot have a good country with all these biases that we have had or we are having. We cannot have a country where you say, okay, let us live on from here. But you see, an Igbo man will never rule this country. Certainly that country will. You are telling me that even if an Igbo man bring the best president, the best mind that can actually salvage this country, because an Igbo man is a tag, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a tag on him not to be respected or not to be chosen. But even if a bad president comes from Katsina or from Southwest, no matter how bad it is, we should accept because they are from a privileged tribe. So being an Igbo is an unprivileged tribe. Being an Urobo man is an unprivileged tribe. Any tribe that is other than Southwest or Northwest is you are the ones, the real people dividing this country is the North and the Southwest. My name is Magnus.
Welcome to Shamras News TV.